Foster4, your local council in Cheshire and Merseyside, are bringing you an exciting new podcast series. Join us as we chat all things fostering with some of Cheshire and Merseyside's most experienced and knowledgeable foster carers. We'll be covering topics relating to fostering, from making that first step to what it looks like after 40 years. We'll have interviews with people in our fostering community and young people who want to share their experiences with you. We hope listening gives you an insight into the amazing role of fostering and why fostering for your local authority will be helping children in your local community. This podcast has been funded by UK government. Okay, so welcome to the podcast. We normally start with like a little bit of an introduction. Obviously, we all know each other, but obviously for anyone listening. So I'm Kerry, I'm one of the Learning Development Officers, Foster4. So if you want to go now.
I'm Shelley, I'm Fostering Support Worker, Foster4.
And I'm Lisa. I'm also a fostering support worker for Foster4.
Fab, and we all work together. So I think today we're going to talk more about sort of the inquiry process for people that are looking to get into fostering. So I don't know if you want to tell me a bit about your role initially and what your role is all about, because we do very different jobs, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okie doke. So our role as a support worker, we do lots of different things. So we would do pop-ups within the community. So we would go to coffee shops, supermarkets, big providers where there's going to be a lot of footfall of traffic, where people can see us. We can raise awareness about the need for foster carers. Yeah. We're there for people to come and speak to us if we want to, and also for us to provide information to them in relation to fostering, how to make an inquiry, what they can do, or quite often when we are at events, take the inquiries from them at that time. So obviously we've got lots of information that we put out there. We've got our phone number, our email address, Instagram, Facebook contacts, all the different ways that they could make an inquiry with us.
Okay. Yeah, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so we just man the Foster4 hub, which is like the website, the telephone and the email. So people can see us at events, but they can also get in touch with us on there. So we'll have days where we just man that and speak to people on there.
So you're both kind of like the first point of call, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
So when it comes to if I was looking to do fostering, where do I even start? Like where would I even begin?
Well, I suppose it's making sure that information is out there so people know how to contact us in the first place. So that's making sure that our contact numbers are there for people to call if they want to. So we have somebody on duty from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, that is there to take any inquiries over the phone. We also respond to inquiries that are made via our website, so those inquiries will be made through the Foster4 website. They come to us. We will then send the relevant information out to that person, depending on the local authority of where they want to foster for. So we will send that out to them. We have a pack that will include the information pack, the support package, a payment guide, payment snapshot. And then once we've sent that, then we would do a follow-up call following that. So maybe that day or the next day, just to make
kind of like check
just to make sure that they've got the information, if they've got any questions, if
it's new, it's a lot, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's where people start, isn't it? That's the start of their fostering journey, if you like. So,
having someone there just to ring them and go, is it okay? Do you need
absolutely.
To really helpful.
And we want to make sure that we reply to those inquiries as soon as we can. Once we get that, we send the right information out, and then we'll give them a follow-up call just to make sure that they've got that information, don't we?
Yeah, it's still the point of inquiry. People are just wanting some information at this point. They might not want to progress at that point, but we always will contact people when they're ready. Yeah. But if they do want to progress, then we would maybe do expression of interest. We also hold information sessions as well that they can attend. This is where we would be there online, or we do in person as well, don't we? And we have a foster carer on those too, so
which is good, isn't it?
So they can see it from a foster carer's perspective, and I feel like people really find that beneficial.
just to get their insight and ask them questions as well, because obviously you know loads about the sort of the process and stuff, but asking like a foster carer first hand is also really helpful, isn't it? Yeah. Does in the pack as well, does it include things like the types of fostering? Because obviously there's so many different types and people don't even know where to start with that, do they?
And people don't realise, do they?
There's all different types,
exactly, you know, and we need all types of foster carers from all different walks of life. You know, we need respite carers, short-term carers, long-term carers, and quite often people don't really understand the difference in the types of fostering, or whether there's a greater need for one than the other. But, you know, whatever they can do, sometimes people start off maybe doing respite care, but then may go on to do short-term or long-term care.
Some people want
at a
like
later date.
To it, don't
Absolutely,
they?
yeah.
But it all covers that, I'm
yeah.
assuming, like
and everybody's personal situation is different. Some people work, don't they? Some people don't work. Some people that inquire have got children of their own. Some people, you know, who may inquire may think that they're too old when actually they're not. As long as they're 21, they've got no convictions or cautions against children, then it's fine, then, you know, we are looking for all types of foster carers from all walks of life.
For all different types of fostering.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that come up to us at events and say, oh, I'm too old for that. But there is no upper limit as long as you are, you know, healthy enough, physically healthy and healthy enough to look after
there's quite
child,
a few. Do you get other things like that? I think there's probably quite a few sort of misinterpretations of the do's and don'ts. So you have to be you have to be experienced, or maybe you have to have had children as well.
We only last week we had an event and somebody came over at that event and said, well, actually I think I'm too old. And, you know, I was like, why would you think that? And she, you know, she said, well, I'm over 60. And we were like, well, definitely not, absolutely not too old. As long as somebody's fit to foster, then, you know. So she then came to one of our information sessions. We had a face-to-face information session. She's gone on to make an inquiry and continued on with her journey when she didn't realise, and she thought that she was too old when she when she wasn't. So it's about, you know, busting those myths, isn't it, that are out there in society. People think, I've never had children, so I can't foster.
I work, so I've not got time to do it. It's another one, but it is just like people work and have children, don't they? So it's the same thing with fostering. There is an extra commitment there in terms of, like, you know, meetings and things like that. But actually anyone can do it if they're fit. And it's safe for them to do so, isn't it?
Definitely.
So with the inquiries, obviously you can do it on the phone, online, or maybe at an event and stuff like that. I think as well, some people worry in terms of the inquiry. Is it like a big process initially, or is it like, do I have to give my whole life story there and then? Or
no. As long as we've got their contact details, so we can forward that information on. And, you know, maybe give them a call back just to see if they've got any questions, or we can help with anything else. You know, whether they, you know, do want to book onto one of our information sessions. Like Shelley was saying, that we hold those on a regular basis. So we'll have evening sessions, lunchtime sessions, face-to-face sessions. So, you know, we're there to provide that information, answer any questions that they may have, you know, give them some examples of the, you know, the tasks, the roles of a foster carer, what it entails, what it includes, the assessment process.
Which I think is really helpful, getting that information that early as well. Rather than kind of going into all the sort of like application and that side of it, and to the inquiry, having that straight away.
That's it.
It's just
isn't
helpful.
it? And you know, people are making inquiries, aren't they? So they want to know more about the fostering process, you know, and when the time is right for them, it may be, you know, something that they want to do at a certain point. So they need to know what they need to have, what they need to do, or what it entails, or how long it takes.
And look at what they can commit to in terms of what sort of fostering.
Yeah, it's got to work for them, hasn't it, you know?
It's got to be right for the whole family, hasn't it?
So say if I'd inquired and obviously gone to got the pack and done an information session, and I thought, this is probably something I want to continue with. Is there a next step after that in terms of the inquiry process? Do we call, or?
That would be the expression of interest. So we always keep in touch through the whole inquiry process anyway. And expression of interest is basically some questions. It usually takes about half an hour, 40 minutes, doesn't it? Depending how chatty you are. And so it's just a list of questions really that we go through. We learn about the potential foster carer, about them, why they want to foster. about their family, about the support networks.
Sort of the type of fostering they might want to do. Because obviously at that point they've done a bit of
and it's not too in-depth, it's not too
information,
intrusive, it's just some questions that we need to know, the basics basically. And from there we submit that to the local authority that they want to foster for, and they'd have a visit after that. That's where they'd go after the inquiry. So the next stage of the inquiry is expression of interest.
So during that inquiry, before you get to sort of expression of interest, then if I've got any doubts and things like that, I can just call.
Yeah, anytime.
What sort of like typical queries do you get? Like, I know we said about people concerned if they can and can't.
Yeah, and I think that's quite often, sometimes somebody might have requested information from independent fostering agencies as well as ourselves that recruit for the local authority. And I think that they don't really understand at times what the difference is between applying to foster with your local authority rather than an independent fostering agency. So, obviously it's the local authority that need those placements for our children. So we would always use our own foster carers first. We want our foster carers to be in the local community of where the children are from, where they live, what's familiar to them. So then the foster carers who maybe are taking children to school or to family time or to health appointments or whatever it is that they need, it's local. It's on the doorstep. They're working with the social workers in that of the children, within the same building, within the same, on the same floor. So that communication between, the child social worker and the foster carer's social worker is much easier. It runs much smoother. Obviously, the fostering agency, our local authority foster care provide add-on payments for things like mileage, equipment, festival allowances, those sort of things that are on top of the the payment fees that they get for caring for that particular child. So there is real differences between independent fostering agencies and fostering for your local authority. Like I say, we need those placements for our children, and we want to place them with our carers.
I suppose in some way it's like adding an extra step, isn't it, in terms of foster care? Because you'd have to wait for the like fostering agency to contact the local authority. It's like an extra person, isn't it? Whereas if you go straight to your local authority, it's going to be a smoother process, surely.
And lots of people
don't, easier, especially if you're new as well.
People don't realise that. They don't realise the difference.
Do you get quite a lot of people calling then saying like, what's this company and how does
what's the difference? What can you offer? That of course.
These have offered this sort of.
We've got our own training, training in-house, that is much easier for our foster carers to be able to, get that support, get that local support, get that support from their peers, so from other foster carers. So those that are with independent agencies, their foster carers are spread all over, wherever, they don't have that same support networks locally, coffee mornings, mentors, buddies.
We do have people like leaving independent agencies to come to us because they're not getting that support that they would at the local authority. Because
local authority means local at the end of the day. It means it's near them, isn't it? It's going to be a bit easier. But again, it must be confusing when people are making an inquiry and they see, Foster4, local authority, they see these other names of other independent ones, and it can get a bit confusing. But I suppose if you're there at the end of the phone to answer those questions and explain it, and they've got all those packs and stuff like that, that's really helpful. So in terms of that sort of like confusion around the process then, is it just that they don't understand that, all children are kind of under the local authority and independent fostering are almost like an outsource? Like, do they understand what is it? How do you explain it to people? It's slightly
I don't
different?
think they do understand. Obviously, it's the local authority, like I say, that are the ones that maybe bringing children into care for the right reasons, because obviously maybe it's not safe for a child to be at home with a family or whatever it may be. So it's the local authority that are wanting, that are needing those placements. So it's the local authority that are requesting those homes, those placements for children, not independent fostering agencies. It's them that come to us, to say, well, we've got these carers. They don't need placements themselves, it's the local authority that will be seeking out.
They're almost like a backfill, aren't they?
Absolutely.
People aren't going directly to the local authority.
No, they would approach the local authority to see, what
how many foster carers are you needing at the moment? Have you filled the requirements, sort of thing?
Every child that needs foster care is placed with local authority. Yeah. And when we don't have those foster carers, that's when independent agencies are used. So these private agencies are relying on us to not have the carers. So that's why we need the carers at the local authority so they can stay with the local authority.
Just makes it a smoother process, doesn't it? It's just, because it's the same children, but it's just obviously easier if you go to your local authority rather than another hoop to jump through, isn't it?
But if you can use your own foster carers, like I say, that consistency, that, working together as a local authority with, the children's social workers, the team around the child, it's all
really
in-house. It runs much easier. We know our foster carers. We've recruited our foster carers. We've trained our foster carers. We support our foster carers. So we know where we're placing our children with suitable and safe and appropriate foster carers
and supported for them as well. They're going to get more support. And I think this is the thing with it. If you're new to sort of this sort of social care setting and you're thinking about fostering, not understanding that process can make it more tricky. If you and this is why it's helpful to have this conversation.
Yeah, and this is why our role exists, isn't it? Like to inform people on the different types of fostering. And that includes independent versus local authority. Yeah. And just to bring awareness of fostering, the need for it, the national shortage of fostering.
And me personally, if I was going to inquire about foster care, I think as well going directly to the local authority and going to somebody like you two and knowing that you work with the local authority, you've got those connections, the different local authorities, you've got contacts, certain social workers, you know the teams and how the whole thing works. Surely that's like a big win.
Yeah. Of course.
Isn't it? I feel like I'd feel more, if I was new to fostering, I'd feel more confident knowing I could speak to one of yous or any of the team and being like, well, I know that they know the teams that I'm going to be working with, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like people do say that to you or anything like that? Do you get
I think
people
that they
feel supported?
Oh, definitely, yeah. We've got a very close relationship with all the fostering teams within Foster4. Yeah. So we've got a support worker that's allocated to each of the local authorities within Foster4. So, we're very much working with them, working with the children's social workers, getting involved in events that are going on, things that are going on. So, we'll be working with lots of the foster carers within those local authorities that will support us at pop-ups or events or information sessions. Like Shelley was saying, we always have a foster carer at hand on the information sessions, whether that be virtual sessions or face-to-face. Yeah. Quite often they will support us at recruitment events, so they will be there, on the front line for people to talk to, to get that information, to give them, the realities of what fostering entails, because it's obviously...
I think it's good that
it's them
they
that's
can
doing
ask.
it, day in and day out, isn't it? They're the ones that are caring for the children, they're the ones that are doing, the role, so they can obviously answer questions a lot better than Shelley.
I think if I was new to fostering, I think that'd be a massive win. You do want to ask the people as well that are doing the job day to day. It's a massive win, isn't it? Of course. But I think as well, like knowing, obviously, when you do that inquiry, or maybe when you do online or through the phone or whatever, or email or however you do it, knowing that you're kind of overseeing that journey, aren't you? Just right from that inquiry point. Knowing that they've got a go-to person is really helpful. I don't know how it works in sort of independent fostering agencies and stuff like that, but knowing that they've just got that person to always contact and go, actually, I've got a question about this, or forgot about this, can I ask you? That's really helpful, isn't it? Yeah. Do you find that you build relationships as well with some of the sort of people that inquire?
Yeah, because you we might be the ones that have picked up the phone in the first place. So we've given them that, initial information. We followed it up with an expression of interest. They may have come to one of our information sessions. So we might know where they're up to in their fostering journey in relation to their assessment, their approval, once approved.
So you kind of
we're still very much working with them, once approved. And then they've had children placed, and we do attend lots of the events that we have in relation to our foster carers, whether it be foster care fortnight, and we're getting involved in the celebration events that they have. So it's nice to see
them as well now that they're foster carers,
and follow their journey. That
it's
they've
nice
started
that you've got
with
that.
us.
I think as well, if I was like new, it's daunting, isn't it? You know, something new, and having that familiar person at the end of the phone.
Exactly, picking up the phone.
And just being like, I need to ask someone, I'll ask them is really nice, isn't it? I think it's just a good way, having that connection from the start. I always like to ask as well, so if I was sort of thinking about fostering, it can feel like, if I've never done it before, it can feel quite daunting. It's a new thing. If you don't know anyone that fosters as well, what would be your advice to me in terms of if I'm on the fence and I don't know what to do?
Well, quite often we will ask them, would they like to speak to one of our foster carers? Many of our foster carers are they're all very supportive, and they're all very involved, involved with the recruitment process. So they know how important it is. So we will have some foster carers that we could contact and say, would you mind giving this person a ring, and just have a chat with them? And they've done that, which has been really, really successful, because they've been able to, offer the right support, the right advice to that person.
The practical. What do I do when this happens? Or what do I do when that happens?
Yeah. So our foster carers are very much involved in that and are happy to support us.
So just ask would be advice. Just ask away.
Yeah, and the info sessions as well. I feel like people really get a lot from them, don't they? Yeah, and
even if you don't want to do an inquiry yet, maybe just go on one of them.
Yeah,
to get a bit more info.
There's a few people on there as well, so people are in the same position. They're inquiring too. You're not alone. And the foster carer is always there as well. And I think it generates a lot of questions that you maybe don't think of on the phone. You can't think of anything, but because we've just done a little presentation, it generates questions at the end of that. So I do think people get a lot from the information sessions.
Yeah. Fab. So I'm listening to the podcast. I'm thinking, this sounds good. Sounds like I'm going to get a lot of support, loads of information. What do I do next? How do I inquire?
Well, you can go on the website, which is, it's not on the front, www.foster4.co.uk.
Yeah.
And you can go on your own local authority on there. It all comes back to us at the hub anyway. You can do email, which is enquiry@foster4.co.uk. Or you can phone, which is 0345 646 0098.
I'm impressed.
Just as well she answered that. Or obviously you can make inquiries at times through Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we put all our events on socials, which is Instagram and Facebook. There's usually a link on there as well, so you can do it through there.
Pretty straightforward.
So you'll be able to see our pop-ups that we're going to be certain places at certain times. If you want to come and have a chat to us, it would be lovely to see
and if you see us in our pink T-shirts, just come over and talk to us. You can get information there and then as well.
Sounds really good.
Thank you.